Hi, Tricia. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, and you?
I'm doing great. My name is Nicolette. I am the creator for the podcast titled Or Worthless, Dead Again, the juxtaposition of your very soul. First off, I'd like to say thank you very much for saying yes to be interviewed today and for spending an hour very early in the morning for you in the next 1 hour for me and for the conversation that we're about to have, which is about remote working. Wow. I I would like to, before I read a bit of your introduction, I would like to say that I resonate. It's because I
hmm
too just moved out of my 9 to 5. So, trying to build the business on the side and also just having that feeling of, am I productive enough because I don't have that 9 to 5? But it feels like you're working more hours
Yeah.
than you are in 9 to 5. So the irony is that, so yeah, I'd like to get your views on that. Yes. So right now, I'd like to read a bit of introduction for our listeners, and then we can get right into it.
Okay, no problem.
So hello everyone, we have Tricia Harrison here with us, an ambitious island queen from a tiny island called Barbados. She's passionate about remote work, success, wealth building, and online businesses. For the past 12 years, she has been navigating the digital workspace while experiencing the full spectrum of emotions, from the rough to the sweet, to the exciting, to the difficult, and the challenging. Through this journey, she has gathered invaluable lessons and insights. Now she is on a mission to promote and correct the mindset of her fellow Caribbean people when it comes to remote work. In her own life, she has achieved so much by working online, and she wants others to experience this transformative opportunity as well. Now, her message: you don't have to be stuck in a traditional 9 to 5 routine. Yes, I made the move, feeling miserable, tired, and uninspired. With remote work, you can decide how, when, and where you want to work, all while earning a decent income. Wow, Trisha, I cannot wait for you to expand on this. So, before we get into the nitty-gritty of things, can you share with us what was it like growing up as a Trisha Harrison?
Okay. Well, firstly, thank you for having me on the show. Really excited to share regarding remote work and all the good stuff on it. But in terms of growing up for me was relatively fine. It was okay. I would say I necessarily had problems or issues when I was around 16 because my mother passed away when I was 16 years old.
Oh,
So
I'm so
I
sorry.
ultimately had to thank you. I ultimately had to grow up, so to speak. I still have my dad, but my mother was my hardcore, she was my rock. So I had to adult, as we would say, a lot faster. But otherwise, I would say I had a decent childhood. It was very spoiled. So I would say I had a very decent childhood, so to speak. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. So, tell us your backstory about the journey of your career.
Okay, so I actually, interestingly, you can hear the rain. The rain is falling here.
I heard it for a bit and then now it's gone.
Yeah. Sorry. I
So
actually,
weird.
yeah,
That's the sign from the universe.
I actually got started in remote work because I was in financial difficulty. What really got me pushing on going was I had this bill because, as I mentioned before, my mother had passed, and she had left a few things for me as inheritance, and one of them was property. But we have this thing here in Barbados called land tax. I'm not sure if it's a global thing. It's a tax like where you have to pay for property or land, so to speak, every year. So it
Mhm.
wasn't being paid after she had died. And I ultimately didn't know that this was a thing. Like this was a thing that you have to
You
pay
have
it.
to pay.
So it just kept the bill just there, and every year that passed it just kept adding more for each year, and then it had interest and stuff like that. So I found out about the bill like when it was like around 2021, and it was well over $5,000. And at the time, the job I had, I was only working 6 hours, and I was working like $8 to $9 per hour. So it couldn't suffice my lifestyle then.
But
And
not with having to pay the tax.
Yeah, it could not do both. So I set out like looking for something else to do to get some more funds. Like I needed some more funds to the last thing I wanted was to lose this property because it was so
Mhm.
dear to me.
Yeah.
So then I started looking for some jobs, like in-person jobs, but unfortunately those jobs weren't adding up with my current job because I was working a 10 to 4 sometimes. And then like I wasn't finding jobs that were available for the hours I were available. So then I turned to remote work. I started looking online and stuff like that. I was checking the newspapers and I saw an ad in our daily newspaper about remote work. So when I called the number that was on the ad and stuff, I had to go to this seminar and I went to the seminar. And the guy, he did his thing. He was very nice. He shared his stuff. And the platform that he mentioned to me, which was the first job board or remote platform I was introduced to, was Upwork. So
Mhm.
me set up my profile and stuff like that. And then from there, I just went home and I tackled it all the time. I didn't get my first job till like probably like say 3 months in, and I started Upwork at like $5 per hour. But over
Mhm.
the years, because I was on Upwork for years. Like
Ah.
I only left like working remotely was probably a side hustle thing for me for about 5 years.
Mhm.
And then the COVID had happened. That's what really turned like my shift to remote work full time because it got really bad here in terms of jobs and paychecks and stuff started to get split in half and stuff like that or what's not. So that's what ultimately made me make the switch full time. But that's really how I got into it. I had a cause or purpose that I needed money. I needed financial breakthrough. It wasn't happening for me with an in-person job. So I just ultimately seek online because I was always interested in tech. I was always interested in anything computer like tools, anything like that. So it was really cool to see that I could actually find something online to actually make a living from.
Hmm. Interesting. So, did you what kind of jobs were you taking on from Upwork, or there's
Um,
another platform right now called Fiverr, right? That's also
yeah, there's another platform called Fiverr, but personally, I'm not. But I have a profile, but I never worked with anyone on Fiverr as a freelancer. I work with persons on Fiverr as a client.
ah
But I don't love Fiverr. To be honest, I prefer Upwork because Upwork
Upwork
has a bit more. It has,
credibility.
yeah. Because I was
I
gonna
get
use the
you.
word better, but I don't
Uh-huh.
really want to differentiate between the two because they both have their benefits. I'm not gonna like, but Upwork seems to have a higher quality, yeah,
Hmm.
in terms of Upwork than Fiverr, so to speak. And freelancers tend to charge a bit more on Upwork because
Upwork.
as well. But I forgot the question you asked me.
Oh, sorry. No, I was asking the type of work that you were taking on from Upwork.
Right. Yeah. So on Upwork, I started in customer service. Like I was literally almost a call agent, but I wasn't taking calls. It was literally just answering emails and stuff like that. The first job I had was
Oh.
a care company. And then from there, I just kept getting some more customer service jobs. And then I went into e-commerce. Then I went into virtual assistant. Then I went into management. Then I went into leadership, all that stuff.
Mhm.
Because
Oh,
yeah, depending on the types of jobs that you choose and the client, there's some clients who are actually willing to like train you and stuff like that. Because me personally, I'm not certified in customer service or virtual assistant. My certifications are in cooking. I have a bachelor's in culinary art. So it's
no.
mostly like that. I actually got exponential growth from different niches that I quote unquote didn't hit the bus for, or like I didn't went to school for. I literally just used my charisma, my like common
Mhm.
sense, like, the actual knowledge, that kind of stuff, to how like push and grow yourself throughout the process.
Mhm.
So that's way too one thing I always tell people is that you don't need to have like a bunch of degrees. You don't need to have like all of these things at the end of your name and like all these doctorates and all that kind of stuff. Anybody could get started working remotely, to be honest. It's just as long as the client sees you have charisma, you have talent, and you're willing to work
To
and scale.
learn. Yeah.
Yeah. they
Mm-hmm.
actually work with you because that's literally my story. I
Mm-hmm.
did training throughout my process because of clients and because I ultimately wanted to, because I strongly believe in self-improvement and like, really networking, getting yourself out. I strongly believe in that. But I find a lot of persons tend to dismiss it because they're like, oh, I need to have all this
Like a
type.
proper one,
Yeah, like,
a
you
stable. Mhm.
feel like you just need to be comfortable, starting small and claiming your way up. And I honestly see no problem in that because then you have a success story, you have
Yeah,
experience to share, you will
yeah.
ultimately become more relatable as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to getting plunged into a position. Because there are persons who are certified in many different areas, but still can't completely work as someone who's trainable. And I see that a lot. So like, yeah, it's fine to have like all your degrees and stuff, especially if it's something that you're really interested in and like. But I don't think that person should allow that to deter them from starting or doing anything.
Trying something new. Yeah, with their own time, right?
Yeah.
Do you have plans to use your culinary degree? Me being
Oh, not
curious.
anymore. No, I use it at home because when
Uh,
I started all my, all my,
okay, that's
to be
good.
honest, I was working at the shop. All my in-person jobs, I was working. I never had a job, in-person job that I was not a chef at a heat. I loved cooking before I started, but then when I got into the industry, like the actual world of work, especially here in Barbados, I started to hated it because hospitality workers here specifically aren't treated the best at most
Oh.
institutions or hotels or restaurants, whatever the case may be. And then they tend to be paid really low starting
Mm-hmm.
out, and it takes a while to advance within the industry to here, I find. Like I scale faster online than something I paid thousands of dollars to learn,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I am interested right now. You know why? Because like I said, I moved from 9 to 5 and I was doing I'm a qualified accountant. So while I'm
Mhm.
building my business, I might as well just put some time and effort to review some accounts online as well. I've been getting some people. One of my guests actually, he was saying, you should don't lose your accounting sense while you're doing something on the side, but have it if you know how to do it. Yeah,
Mhm.
maybe. I think it's a sign from the universe. Like, you're the second person. Like, made me think that way.
I would say though, if accounting is something that you're really interested in and you really like, although it was a 9 to 5 thing, it could still be a
Mm.
remote thing or whatnot. Like strongly advocate for persons to take passions and skills and use those as business ideas
Oh,
because then you will be able to enjoy your business, so to speak, rather
that's
than
right.
because most of the times when you're doing a 9 to 5, even if it's something that you like doing, there's still some moments like when you get to go, you still
Mm-hmm.
having this anxiety or like you don't
Yeah.
know or
I
like
don't feel like going today.
right. So like I find when you choose something to work on for your business or your business idea and something that you're really passionate about or you always had an interest in or even if it's a natural skill, persons tend to excel and skill a lot faster and better. Like they really strategize and stuff and think about things being as something they actually their brain enjoys churning about it. So it just
Mm-hmm.
becomes easier. So I would say if you really still down for accounting, you could offer it like you could offer it
Right?
different ways. Like you don't have to trade time for money like I do a service or whatnot. You could find some way to incorporate digital products or anything like that as well too. It doesn't have to be, oh well, I find a client and this client wants me to balance their books and whatnot. You could be the next SaaS app developer or something that you have this brilliant idea and you decide to turn it into an app and sell that product. Or like even I end up using a template girly, but like you decide you want to start making some spreadsheets and stuff that startup companies tend to use to balance their books and their stuff like that. Like
Mm.
You could handle
Yeah.
a lot of
Actually, that,
different angles.
yeah. Oh, yes. Because yeah, those things I've gone through making those templates before, and also I am very familiar with those templates,
Mm-hmm.
and I can actually share it,
And
offer my service there. Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of platforms that you could use. I'm not sure if these available there in
Yeah,
Kuala.
Etsy is available in Malaysia.
Yeah, you could use. See, you could even build your own website. There's this tool I love to recommend as well called Pay. You could build a website, you could sell some digital products and stuff on it, and they charge fees for every transaction. I think it's 3% or something like that. But you don't have to pay to host your website. Or you could use a Squarespace website, you could use a Wix website, but those ones have subscriptions monthly.
Yeah.
So it's totally up to you, but it's not hard to get started.
Mm. You were saying pay hip? What's that?
Yeah.
Pay.
Pay is a tool that you can sell digital products. You can also offer coaching services.
Wait,
Um,
that is my next thing. But hang on. Let me see. Pay.
yeah,
Okay.
PAYHIP.
Pay
Yeah,
hip.
it's really because my site actually right now is hosted on PayHip. I'm in the process of transitioning it because I outgrew it, to be honest. But it is a good thing. I love to recommend it to my clients, especially if they're in a cash crunch, because that's one bill that they don't have to pay. They literally, you just get your domain, what's not, and you could connect your domain and have a site for free.
Hang on. Just domain only, and then the site I can build through pay hip.
Yeah.
My gosh, Tricia, thank you so much. I'm gonna look into this
No well.
tomorrow. And this is why I love doing what I do, talking to people, because I'm learning every time. And to be
Mm-hmm.
honest, like coming back to passion, when you said it just now, like accounting is what I've always known for the past 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now because I love just talking to people, and I've always wanted to hear what people have to say after because a bit of my story. So from 9 to 5, I thought that this is corporate is no longer. I don't right now at the moment. I don't know. Maybe 10 years from now, who knows? I'm gonna go back into corporate, right? But at the time, I had my own burnout with my personal life and also my career, and then I sought something else that what can I do outside? So I enrolled myself to a program in the space of psychology, and I wanted to help people who went through the same experiences that I went through, especially a corporate person with their relationship problem, trauma, recovering from a divorce, for example, and also from a toxic, from burnout. And now I'm in the space of building that. But of course, it's like right now I'm like I know I can I love and why am I connecting this with podcasting is because I wanted to practice first talking to people before people
Mm-hmm.
should pay me. And to my surprise, I actually enjoy talking, and I did a little bit. I put that aside and I focus on my podcasting first. So right now, when I was asked to leave my job back in March, and now it's like almost a sign also to say, okay, you should focus to what's making money for you. Not to say that this podcast is not gonna make money, but right, it was just a hobby at the time. Now it's making a little bit of money, but I need to like put the gear running now. And it's like transitioning out from that 9 to 5, at least for me, like because all around me, most of my friends are still in 9 to 5, and it's
Same
that
here.
that pressure. It's not to say that I'm taking that pressure onto myself, but it's almost like you're guilty because
Mm-hmm.
you have the time, but then you don't have the time because you're building something, but it's like you're not sure. You're not sure of what you're gonna get, especially during the early months or weeks. So I'm just saying this because it's the feeling that I have right now. But I have faith that it's gonna fly. So like you telling me this right now, there are avenues to get money. In case I have that anxiousness. Like you said, you need there's a cash shortages that you need like that,
Yeah.
right?
I
Yeah,
would say though that it's fine in the beginning stages to feel like though like, oh my God, was this a mistake? Like I should have done this, or like was this
yeah.
word? It's fine to have that, and to be honest, have a little imposter syndrome, so to speak. But like anything else, business, I strongly believe an asset of a great entrepreneur, you have to be a risk taker, and
Oh,
you
yes.
ultimately have to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, there's no
Hmm.
reason or way anyone else should believe in yourself. If
That's
there's
true.
people out there currently that are selling rubbish, I
And
can't
can make money
believe it. Why? Because they ultimately believe that
in
whatever they're
themselves.
putting out there, like, made sense to them. And then like
True.
they also take the time to understand the people that they're talking to are their buyers, are their customers, whatnot, their target audience, and they
Mm.
know how to sell to them. So it's not going to be easy, and I say this all the time in freelancing, because nothing is easy. Life was not meant to be easy.
Easy. That's so true.
I
I
mean,
mean, your 9 to 5 is not easy too, and that's why people.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but I just feel like anytime you get into that situation or mood, that's another reason to why I care as well for community. As long as you
Hmm.
have a bunch of like minded people around you who honestly get what you're going through, what
Hmm.
you're dealing with, I find like you tend to bounce back a little bit faster. And
Hmm.
that's why it took me so long, to be honest, to grow and like really see the benefits of remote work, because I felt like fish out of water, because here, like, remote work is such a bad word. Like our residents here, our people believes everything online, or most of them I should say, especially the older generation, believes most stuff online is a scam. So I remember like many times I would say I have a conversation with my grandmother, and she would never understand what it is that I do, or like she would say things like, "You guys be careful, you need to be careful." Like
Yeah.
stuff like, and I just came to the realization that she just doesn't understand that she's stuck in that mindset from
Yeah.
years ago. I mean, like,
Hmm.
there is fraud that happens on the internet, but fraud happens in person too. So, like,
That's true.
it's
Again, hmm,
mhm. It's
that
really just a that.
that risk taking as well, but also understand that you're taking, I would say, calculated risks in the sense that you've
Mm-hmm.
done a thorough research and it's a credible website that you're publishing yourself into, and you're communicating maybe to the real person, real seller, or real purchaser that's gonna engage you for your services or buy your products, right? Like I tell you my experience as well just last week, because I have a podcast and I've been doing it. So before I left my job, I've been doing the editing myself, the marketing myself, and the whole lot of it. And then now that I need to focus on the other things, I
Mm-hmm.
cannot, and I want to get to be talking to people because that's the content that I'm creating, right? But then the back end of it, I cannot do everything by myself. I'm tired. So I
And
said,
that's
okay,
where the entrepreneurs tend to get the burn.
exactly. They want to take everything because they don't trust people. So what I did was I was like, okay, there's one person, a few people actually came over, and then people from Asia saying that, um, m- m- ma'am, your websites, your videos are good on YouTube, but then we can see that your SEOs are not good. That's why it's not gaining the right uh, engagement or reach.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay. At first, I was like, for 10 months. I'm like, no, it's okay. It's a passion project. So it was like trickling. The subscribers were like trickling, and then I finally I threw in the towel and I reached out to one based on the followers or also the highlights on the work that they've done before. So I reached out. The the suspicions that I made sure that I called them, set a call, Zoom meeting, and then of course when you do that, when they're about to get access to your Instagram, they need your password and your username. So there's
Mm-hmm.
all TP being sent to my number, and I was like, "What is this for? What is this for?" So, ma'am, you need to let me so that I can access it from their side. Why do you need it for? I was so resistant. And then only I just hired them, I think last week. Actually, until 2 days after 3 days, I can see my followers started to grow. Like from just not even 100 to a few hundreds now. Like, I mean, organically because they're
Yeah.
fixing the SEO and whatnot. And I'm like, Nicolette, you have some serious trust issues. But then you cannot be too trusting. But at the same time, you have to let them breathe because you want to expand, right? You
Yeah.
have to collaborate, and there's always trial and error. Who knows? Maybe right now they can also come around and scam you, but you need to try. You need to take the
Yeah.
risk.
Because you would
Exactly.
never know unless you take the risk. So you have to
Exactly.
give people benefit of the doubt and to see. And
Yes.
as I've learned throughout my journey, one thing I hear all successful entrepreneurs, and I mean like millionaires and billionaires, say is that you should always hire slow and fire fast.
Hang
So
on, what is that?
you should always hire slow and fire fast. So
Ah,
it's it's fine to
hire
test
slow,
people.
fire fast. Okay.
hmm It's fine to test people and what's not and give them a chance because ultimately there's going to be some bad apples, but you will find a great one. You will find a prize in between because, like, with me, myself, like, people took a chance on me.
Yeah.
It's fortunately enough that it went well, but we have to take, because we still have to remember we're actually working with people. There are good
Mm,
people and bad people, but at the same time, everybody will want somebody to take a chance on them. It's up to you if you're gonna sell and produce and whatnot, or if you're gonna do nonsense or do foolishness. But
mm-hmm.
yeah, it is a good idea to like do your research, do your checks, what's not. And tax business involves a lot of testing too. And
Yeah.
like, prompt them and don't be too hard on this. Even something that I still have to tell myself. Don't be too hard on yourself. Like when you feel you messed up or like got it with all this time or is experience.
That's
Because that's
true.
one
Oh
thing that
my God.
nobody will take away from you is experience. Uh,
Yeah.
or is experience for real. So, oh, I also wanted to mention because you were talking about YouTube. There's this tool too that you could check out on for YouTube called TubeBuddy, where it connects to your YouTube and it basically optimizes all of your YouTube videos based on your niche and stuff like that. So that's something too you could check out and see
I-
how. Well,
I'm putting them all on my um 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 what do you call this? My tool buddy.
Tube TUBE,
TUBE. Tube
TubeBuddy.
buddy.
I could send you the links too after the
Oh
episode.
yeah, that'd be great. Tube
Mhm.
buddy. Ah, do I have to
Yeah,
pay for this? Explore pricing.
Yes,
Yeah.
it has a thing, but you can use the smallest plan. If your YouTube page is under 1,000 subscribers, they have a code on their site that you could use to get
Uh-huh.
a plan for 50% off.
It's five
And yeah,
bucks.
it's really cheap.
Oh my God, thank you so much. So that means I this is my first month trying out the theme, right?
hmm
And maybe I can try this on. Let's
Yeah,
see how I told them like, okay, if we can monetize after the first month, then I'm gonna continue hiring you because it's only worth it for me if we can
yeah,
monetize it. Yeah. So
yeah.
let's see. Fingers crossed. I have to try. I have to try.
I don't feel like because you trying, are you hiring people that you obligated or like you have to keep them on?
Yes.
Don't I still struggle with that, especially being that I advocate and my clients are freelancers, but then I want or I hire freelancers too to do things in my business. So
Yeah.
I tend to get like real emotional about it, but I
Totally
then
get it.
have to go back and like separate business from personal and what's not. And
Hmm.
if it's not working for you, like just cut it off because then you're gonna end up wasting time, money, and resources.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that, Tricia.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I think I had some questions, but it's like we did touch everything. But then maybe we give a little bit of structure to our listeners. How to get started with remote working through freelancing? Like if you have a steps, you have some steps.
Okay, so it really depends. I would say, well, the platforms depend on your location because some platforms, like for example, in the Caribbean, the reason why I encourage persons to use that word and fiber is because we don't have difficulties receiving funds from those platforms. But like
Ah.
if I were to go to we work remotely or
Oh yeah, we were.
yeah, any of those other job boards or platforms, anything like that, we wouldn't be able to get our funds and withdraw them because I don't know about all the Caribbean countries, but for sure Barbados is still kind of considered like a third world country because Stripe doesn't even work here. You can't have a Stripe account for my business. Like, so we still have some limitations. So that's why, like, for persons within the Caribbean, I would advocate for those kinds of platforms and building an online presence so you can still market yourself through your socials. But other than that, I would say to get started, you need to think about a skill or a passion or interest that you have, something that gives you or brings joy when you think about it, when you do it, what's not. And then start to look into ways that you could offer this joy or passion as a service or a product. And then from there, further dig into the niche and see or the industry and see what positions are was on the net or the web currently that persons are offering. So for example, let's use you as a case study. You're into like finance and stuff and you like
Mm-hmm.
accounting. So
Mm-hmm.
finance is like your passion. And then the niche or industry would be accounting. And then digging into that to find something that you like that you could offer would be like either services, as in like you set up packages and you tell a person, well, you're gonna do ABC, XYZ for them month to month or whatever. Or you could do product like I was mentioning before, where you would do the digital products and do like some templates and that kind of stuff, and like go from there and sell those. So that would be the first step. And then after that, you need to start to position yourself and look for platforms that make sense. Because, for example, if you're a creative, like you do graphics and stuff like that, you can use Behance because there's some platforms that are specifically for creatives, like specifically for graphic designers. And if
Behance. Behance. Okay, Behance. Okay.
so, it would be good to leverage platforms that have creators that are in your niche. Yes, there will be competition, but as I love to say, no market. I don't believe that no market is oversaturated because there's
Exactly.
only one you, and there's only one
Mm-hmm.
that can produce the output and the personal
Yes.
experience that you have and that you can give. Because services, even product-based businesses, business is not only about the product.
Yes.
Like you have to have a
It's the
personal,
connection
yes,
with
you have to
the
have personal connection there for persons to resonate with you. And
mm-hmm.
get, because first, most people buy with emotions. Some
Oh
people buy
yeah.
by statistics, but most
Yeah.
buy by emotions. So,
Emotions always wins over logic.
mhm. For me, I'm an emotional buyer.
Same.
So emotional buyer myself. So like, those are things then that you can turn and like start to think about and think through. And ultimately, everything is not going to come like as you sit down in this first brainstorming session and expect everything to just start coming down from God and you just writing. As you start to do your research, it's gonna come. The more you're going to whatever it is you enter, you're gonna discover. Like me personally, I still make a lot of changes in my business because the more I work with people, I figure out things that they have a problem with or that is a pain point that I didn't consider as a pain point because I honestly was using myself as a case study. But
Mm-hmm.
then I was forced to realize that everyone isn't having the same problems that I had.
As you have, yeah.
Everyone doesn't also have the same intellect that I have. So like things to me
Mm,
would be, oh my God, so obvious. I don't understand how you would not know this. To somebody else could be like, oh my God, this is
uh,
so new. I don't know what to.
yeah, yeah, that is so true.
Yeah,
Oh my God, sure. I have so many ideas. Let me see.
so those are things
No.
really
Oh,
to
oh, oh.
consider.
I have so many ideas in my head right now. It's just that I am one person. So
I would
I
encourage you to start journaling. I would, as saying, and I don't really like to use my phone. I have a million things in here in my notes, but
you
when
and me both.
you forget to go back to them sometimes, I would advise to you to buy a book. Like just it could be any book. It could be literally an exercise book. But as things come to your mind, just write them. And like even
Mm-hmm.
if you schedule within 3 months or something like that, to just go back and reference the stuff that you wrote over the past 3 months within the book,
I
just
got
to
it.
see just what you was thinking of and who you never like experiences or stuff happened throughout your business
Yeah.
or your life within those past 3 months. It now made an idea that you have written down made sense because I developed product, I developed business idea. Like I have some stuff on the
Oh my
board
God.
of my business that isn't necessarily public as yet. That I
Right.
know, God, this will be amazing. But just that you're waiting for the right time to introduce it.
Yes.
So like when the time comes around and you feel that you want to launch something new or you feel like you want to do something different, you will already have a pool of ideas and brainstorming wouldn't necessarily have to become a chore. Because as things come to you as you go about, because I don't know about you, but sometimes like, even I would be in the supermarket and I would literally be buying groceries and
Mm-hmm.
ideas will come to my mind. Like things will come to my mind in some of the weirdest places. And well, I always tell my clients I just shut stuff up from short-term memory loss because I just forget. But by the time I get back home, I want to remember whatever it was or this good prompt that just come to me in the supermarket. So like having a good book, or if I don't have my book and I have to use the notes, then I will gotta remind myself to take it out to the
To
notes.
take it from and then write it down.
It's really good for brainstorming. To be honest, it really, really, really helps. It
Mm-hmm.
really helps. I forget what we were talking about before I
Oh my
went.
gosh. Oh my gosh. Our listeners are like, these two people. I hope they're also taking down the notes right now. I love it. Wow. Yes.
Hmm.
I have
But
already
then
written
from
some.
there, after you go through that development phase, so to speak, of thinking like what you want to do and what you could possibly offer. Because remember what you think about or you come up with or you write down at this stage, it's not set in stone that it has to go this exact way. Because as I said, as you start to build out stuff and go through stuff, your trajectory might change and you might find different ways to make it work better, which is fine. And
Mm-hmm.
just remember to continue testing. But from there, then I would, as I was saying earlier, I would look for different platforms that I could utilize that would make sense within my niche. So like how I was mentioning the CMB hat, if it was into graphics or creativity or anything like that, I would leverage Upwork. I love Upwork. You could do Fiverr if you want. About any other platforms, if you have platforms that in your country that seem to be a hot topic and what you're offering makes sense on that platform, then
Mm-hmm.
offer it there. And then start to build out yourself as a personal brand and like your business and what like depending on the niche, choose a platform, a social media platform, and make that platform your primary platform. So for example, I have a client and
Mm-hmm.
she's into virtual assistant, but she only targets CEOs or executives. So her
Mm-hmm.
ultimate platform of choice to find those type of people would be
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. So
Mm-hmm.
she's using LinkedIn as her main or major platform. And then
Mm-hmm.
she's taking the content that she produces on LinkedIn and leveraging that and carrying it over to Instagram and Facebook. So
Mm-hmm.
given that Instagram, it's funny enough because we actually had a strategy called it's like this same client. So say with the LinkedIn content, because LinkedIn is mostly like a wordsy platform. People tend to put
Yeah.
a quadrant quotes on there. So we were saying like she could take those LinkedIn posts and take it and make it into a summarized version of the LinkedIn post into Instagram caption, and then do like a branded photo or something for Instagram, saying Instagram is a photo-based platform, and then
Mm-hmm.
have a caption and drive those persons over to LinkedIn. So she could do something like she could share text. The image could be tip of the day or something like that. Just text and it's branded with her logo on her colors. She could share a brief synopsis of the tip as the Instagram caption and like do a call to action, give people to comment, tip or something like that, and that will lead them into her inbox. And then she could use another tool down there that when they comment this, they will get the link to go back over to her LinkedIn now. So she'll be channeling traffic now from Instagram over to LinkedIn automatically by using text, and then it will bring more people onto her LinkedIn, and her posts will start to get more impressions and that kind of stuff. So she will basically be leveraging all of her social media within one go and using like one post. Because I find a lot of persons think that because you're using multiple platforms,
Mm-hmm.
that you have to have different content for each platform.
Yeah.
And that could be extremely stressful, especially if you don't have a team and it's
Mm-hmm.
you alone. If you
Yes.
find a way to make your content work across each platform, it will really reduce the stress or the burnout, to be honest. It really, really, really would. And that's coming from someone that hates content creation. I hate content creation, so I personally too have to find ways to like make it work for me. Because Instagram operates totally different to LinkedIn, but
Yeah.
ultimately I'll be talking about the same things across all of the platforms. So why not like have a post idea and then this post idea that it will work for each different platform, just like TikTok. So if she was using TikTok, she could do a reel then of her doing a talking head video, and
Mm-hmm.
she literally just talking out the tip. People seeing her stuff as opposed to reading the text like on LinkedIn. And it will be the same tip that she shared on LinkedIn through text. She shared on Instagram through an image where she reverted the person back to LinkedIn to see the full work right up on the text. And then on TikTok, I have a little more personal connection because she actually talking to the people could see her talking, play this video on WhatsApp, and she could still record the persons from there back to her main or primary platform, LinkedIn as well. So it's mostly just like finding ways to make things a little more easier for you, to make things a little more, balanced and stuff like that, because it could get really time consuming, especially if you are a one-man shop. It's just you
Yes.
and like,
Yeah.
and I honestly don't see anything wrong with being a one-man shop, but eventually in order to scale, you're gonna have to start to outsource. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't advise that until like you're there, that you can afford it financially, or if it's ultimately needed. And ultimately needed for me would be if it's something that you really hate doing, because I don't believe anybody should be doing anything they don't like doing. Because 9 out of 10 times you're not going to put the amount of required effort in it, and then the output is going to be poor. So instead of really detrimenting your business and affecting your business in a negative way because you're doing something that you really don't enjoy doing, try to see how you can allocate the funds to, get somebody that actually likes doing this thing and will do it 10 times way better than you.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You've given me so many ideas. I am just writing down right now. Gosh, thank you so much. Trisha, what is next for you?
Well, I have I have so many things on my list, but I enjoy being an entrepreneur, and I have a list of different business ideas that I want to get started with and what's not. So I would say next is to continue to scale the remote catalyst and I'm really focusing on building my membership this time because I try to move away from so many one-to-ones and build a community around remote work and like, helping each other and networking because I really want to open up a community where persons could come and network and like collaborate with one another because I'm really enjoying networking. networking really helps you scale more as opposed to education or degree. If
Yeah.
someone sees and talks to you and they really like your vibe or what's not, they're more willing to listen and give you a chance. So I would say that my big net is that my community become full-fledged and flamboyant and amazing and like, it's global and we have tons of people just coming in and that kind of stuff. And just getting like remote work out there more, like helping more people see it's okay to work on one that you make legitimate real money. You're not scamming the money. Like just to
That's
change the
true.
trajectory, specifically within my country, to just change the trajectory of what people are thinking or seeing about remote work and just advocating for it a bit more and online businesses.
God, you saved my life today. Thank you so much. I might just turn my life around with this. I've written so many already. Awesome. Trisha, I am going to ask you a self-worth question because my podcast talks a lot about self-worth. So
Hmm.
the question for you, what role do societal actions and external validation play in shaping our self-worth? How can we break free from these influences and find our intrinsic value?
Well, I on that question, that ultimately is a tricky one because as humans, whether we come on up to it or we joke about it, we tend to really be bothered about other people's opinions or what they think
Mm,
or say about us. But it has to start with you. Like you have to accept who you are, what you have to offer, what you can give, and just go from there. So I believe in affirmations. Like, I will walk around the halls and I will say things like, "Tomorrow I will wake up and be a billionaire," or like I would say, I say some strange things sometimes, like things that I know, like statistically, the book is showing that tomorrow I can be a millionaire. But I procrastinate to come into my life. I procrastinate to happen, and I know once I believe it, it's ultimately going to happen. Like things can start to working in my favor and what's not, and it's ultimately going to happen. So in terms of self-worth and like society and that kinds of stuff, I would say I just try to keep myself level-headed. I also try to constantly have like pep talks or workshops with myself and keep my mental health in check and seeing like if I have a hiccup or a mess up, yeah, I allow myself to be annoyed or upset about it, but not for too long. Like I wouldn't dwell on it because I need to press and move forward. I need to ultimately get myself out of whatever position it may be that I'm in. So after feeling sad or depressed or angry, whatever, I would then reverse engineer and try to figure out, well, why this happened, what I did that caused this to happen, how I could alleviate this from happening again, and just like, well, I believe in documenting or writing a lot, but just like documenting or writing what happened, what caused it, all those questions they just quoted, and seeing how I could improve from it and what's not. And ultimately, just always believe that you're worthy. Just always believe you're worth it. Just always believe like
mhm, mhm, mhm.
they're you.
Advocating for my.
Yeah, like because you genuinely have to believe that. If not, it's never going to be so. I can't believe as much as I may tell you, but Nicola, you're so worthy. Oh my gosh, I really adore you. You're doing such a good job. Yes, you may take it and receive it, but if you don't believe it, you're not going to propel forward and do
That's
what
true.
you should or ultimately be doing. That you would never fulfill your purpose or your passion. That has to start with you. And ultimately, you would see too that the moment you start to show people that you truly believe in what you stand for, you as an individual, your values and stuff like that, people are going to just start to hop on your train. You won't have to force anyone, anything like that. It's just going to start to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because even with my business, I had never in a million years planned to be coaching or mentoring anybody on remote work. For me, it was just because it eventually developed into a business where I was offering my services as a business. But then people kept coming to me asking me, well, how you did it? like you could show me, you could, what, and that's then like when I realized, well, this is another business opportunity. This is something else that I could offer. So like just follow your passions, believe in yourself, and for sure, like you would get through it. You will get through whatever it is, whether personal, business, you would get through it.
So, okay, I'm very curious. So that means you are also out there coaching people how to get started in remote working.
Mhm.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, that's ultimately what the remote catalyst is about. I help freelancers and side hustlers get started in remote work, whether it's building their careers or building businesses. Because I refer to, since freelancers is such a broad term and a lot of persons aren't familiar with what exactly is a freelancer. Because for me, a freelancer a definition of a freelancer is ultimately a wealth builder, somebody seeking to build wealth. So I refer
Mm-hmm.
to my general audience as wealth builders, but I categorize my clients into freelancers and side hustlers. So for those persons who have a passion or a skill or interest that they really, really love and they're interested in actually turning this into a business, I would call them a freelancer. So like I would call you a freelancer because you're ultimately thinking about doing some other stuff with accounting and like selling and that kind of stuff. Whereas persons who literally just want a 9 to 5, because you could have a 9 to 5 but remotely, and they aren't to the entrepreneur mindset as yet. I would consider them as side hustlers because both of them, freelancers and side hustlers, start on the same journey, but eventually along the pipeline they branch off because stuff that a business owner would need to be focusing on, a side hustler or 9 to 5 person wouldn't need to be focusing on. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
way how I kind of like try to differentiate the audience just so that even when I'm marketing or like I talking to people, they could understand. Because I have some instances where persons thought I couldn't help them because they thought I only help business owners, but they don't realize, which in it that actually started to get me annoyed to be honest, because they don't realize that by freelancing or even doing a side hustle, you ultimately starting a business. It's just that your mind hasn't resonated with it yet, or like you didn't realize yet that that's what you're doing. But if you are offering something, like say you're virtual assistant and you work with many clients and you realize more and more people start to want working with you and stuff like that, and you start taking on more clients, you ultimately running a business. Although some persons may be telling you, well, I want you to work from 9 to 5 or I want you to work from 10 to 6. That is just their stipulations for that contract or that,
Mm-hmm.
but you ultimately still have more clients. Like, I try to help my clients to see that you have clients, that you have people that want to work with you. Don't look at it as a case where that you're working for somebody or like how that would typically be a side hustle mindset. But I learned throughout coaching people, you can't necessarily change person trajectory or their thoughts or their understanding just like that. Is a process. So the
Mm-hmm.
more that you guide them through the process and whatnot and they continue coaching, then they start to realize, well, I actually like quote unquote running a business, but it's just that I'm not doing the business things. Like I didn't decide to brand myself as a business. I didn't decide to like do some socials, do some marketing, do like all that other stuff. But I have all of these different clients because it honestly ends up when you freelancing, you end up working with so many different people. But some persons get stuck in the assumption of that they are working for people as opposed to these people want to work for them. And I find that mindset is wants to work with them. And I find that mindset is what keeps a lot of persons limited and stuck because you're not training yourself for growth or elevation. You're training yourself that you ultimately have to always be working for people and stuff like that instead of training yourself to think, well, I offering a service that people actually like and want, and I have people who want to work with me. People want to work with businesses. So
Mm-hmm.
it's honestly up to you, like what you force yourself to believe or that you believe. Because if you change your trajectory of how you're thinking or your belief, your growth is going to look so different. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
look so different if you really change like how you're thinking about things and how you're looking at things, trying to look at things from different points of view and angles. Because I've worked with people that came in as side hustlers. I ended up transitioning into freelancers, but they didn't realize that I could see the transition happening.
Sorry, my Allah.
I
Excuse me.
could I the transition happening before my eyes, but it still takes them a little to realize, wow, oh, this actually happening. Like I actually get it on these clients, and like I got this business and people are asking me now like what other services they operate. So it takes time sometimes for people to see it happen, see it come through for them, and then really connect the dots, and visualize or see what's really happening before them, like how great this thing is. Vision I find to be really awesome, to be honest, with any journey, how people transition and like then they realize that they ultimately didn't commit to be a full-fledged business owner, but end up being a full-fledged business owner. So yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you. It is a lonely journey to become an entrepreneur that I have realized. But I
Mhm.
think the community is important and to keep your belief in yourself. Trisha, a few more questions and then because I'm also mindful of the time. What is your heart's greatest wish?
My heart's greatest wish would be for freelancers or side hustlers, as they call them, to realize that we are not in competition with each other. Yes, some of us offer the same services, but because you may offer the same service as me, that doesn't mean that I need to hijack or like walk around and talk bad things about you or like try to draw business from you because as I said, people connect with people and people hire from vibes as we call them, like people
That's right.
hire from resonating with people and stuff like that. It's okay to have all these different certifications and stuff like that, but if I can't have a normal conversation with you to even like discuss tasks and projects, we're gonna have a problem because you will then how you can execute the work because you will not execute
Yes.
I want. So that's really something that I would love to see a change within the entire freelancing industry. A
Mm-hmm.
person just thinking that is this full-fledged competition and like everybody against one another and what's not and stuff like that. Mhm.
Thank you. What a great reminder. Do you have a mantra that you live by?
I would say trusting God. Yeah, I would say trusting God. I try to everything I do in or want to do. I try to chat with him first, although I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I do things and then chat with him after. But I ultimately
And
try.
then it doesn't really go so well. It's like immediately, I told you so.
Yeah, yeah. I really try to live like that. Like trust in God and continuously like believe in myself. Even like when imposter syndrome seems to want to come up or whatever, I try to then remember my wins. I remember transformations that I've made. I remember like sometimes it would take time, especially if I feel like I drowning, so to speak, because although I have success, I still have sometimes where like in areas that I wouldn't necessarily understand or figure out yet. Because
Mm,
in every stage of business, although you reach success and you reach different pinnacles, well, as a business owner, you should be striving for that success. And then to get to that other step, you're going to find more difficulty. So then you
mm-hmm.
need now to find somebody else that can help you to get to these other steps. So like when I get in situations like that, I tend to go back to testimonials or like messages or I need to remind myself of what
Mm,
I did, what I can offer that kind of like give myself back another pep talk
mm-hmm.
and then like just refresh and start striving again.
I love that. I wanted to ask you something, but I think I lost my train of thoughts. Okay, hopefully I can get back to it. So, what keeps you up at night? Is there anything that keeps you up at night, or do you sleep well?
I won't say that anything keeps me at night. I won't say that anything because I thought in terms of business, since we were talking about business, I run my business by my core values and morals. So like I
Mm-hmm.
believe in generosity. So I'm generous all the time throughout my business. Like sometimes with clients there's stuff that I would charge for and they end up not charging for them. my coach has told me in the past that that is something that I need to work on because you operate something, so you should charge for it. But I,
Yes, that was the question that I wanted to ask you. Hang on. Sorry for cutting you off. Yes, yes. Okay, okay. I'm
yeah,
gonna.
I don't believe in generosity because the more you put into the universe is gonna
It'll
ultimately
get back to you.
grow. So
Yes.
I just try to do everything within my like personal and business the way how I would want to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
must say that they really keeps me because when I do things, they actually do it with a good mind, a good heart, and like I put my all into it.
Your intention. Right.
Yeah,
Um, yes. Do you work with coaches?
yeah. I actually have a coach myself. I have a YouTube coach, and then I have a business coach as well. I strongly believe that in order to success, in order to reach pinnacle success, you need to have a mentor. So like for my clients, so they tell my clients all the time, eventually you're gonna outgrow me. I don't know if when you get to another stage, like if I already offering that service or that level of support that you need within my business, so then yeah, we will continue working together. But ultimately, eventually, you're gonna outgrow your coach because that's what you're paying a coach or a mentor for a transformation. So when you reach that transformation, if that person can't help you with the next step or the next transformation that you're seeking, but then you need to look for somebody else. Because people, well, I believe that good coaches coach off of knowledge, yes, expertise, yes, but also experiences. Because how could you, this is my opinion, how could you help someone on something or a topic matter if you haven't necessarily went through it or experienced it? Because it's okay for somebody to tell you a situation or tell you, well, these things work like ABC, XYZ. But people don't understand that there's emotions and feelings and everything that we do because we're emotional beings. So
Mm-hmm.
when that person gets to that point where they need support, because trust and belief throughout any journey, you're going to need support. You will not be able to resonate with that person to adequately help them in the kind of depth that they require to push through whatever like fallback or disappointment it would be that they're going through at the time because you don't get it, you don't understand it, you didn't went through it, you heard of it, so you assuming how they would feel and you assuming what would help, but being if you actually went through it and it just hit different, like you could then track back and see like how you dealt with it when you were going through it, offer like solutions to what you did that you know actually work, and that way too it not only leads to better business and better testimonials and all that kind of stuff, because you really offer personalized experience, but it builds trust. And one thing that you really need within your brand is trust. And you don't
Mm-hmm.
want people walking about talking about you as a hypocrite or something like that.
Yeah.
So I strongly believe in the emotional aspect, especially if you're doing coaching or consulting. I strongly believe in the emotional aspect of it. That if you helping someone, you helping an emotional you, because all of us have emotion. We express them differently, but
Mm-hmm.
you're still gonna need to resonate with that side of the spectrum as well.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. You actually gave me a lot of clarity today. Thank you for that, Tricia.
No,
Because I have been quite down the last couple of week actually because I feel like I'm beating myself a little bit that okay, I'm not getting where I want to be. But then you have on the other side, I have a lot of things that I need to do, but then I can like sometimes I am like a deer in the headlights like where do I start? I know I have A B C D E, but it's like sometimes I'm just blank like
right, and that's exactly like what I was saying to see. You mentioned before you have your friend, but your
Mhm.
friends can't ultimately help you in that area because they don't understand what you're going through. Like they
Mm,
will just tell you the generic stuff of you got this, just keep trying, you're good at what you're doing. Like they will tell
yes.
you the stuff that they think you want to hear, which in reality those are things that they should be telling you. But realistically speaking, it's still not going to pull you out of the hole that you feel like you're in. That's why I really like pushing the community aspect and whatnot. Because having a bunch of people that either went through or going through what you're going through really, really, really helps. Or unless you have like a coach or a mentor or somebody to like guide you throughout the process. Because as much as we think that we can do it alone, we can't do anything in life alone because humans were built to have interactions or feelings or something with someone else. We weren't built to be by ourselves. We were
Mm-hmm.
always built to have someone else like there, whether it's to talk to, whether it's to share emotions, whether it's just like to bounce ideas back and forth from. If everyone had to live isolated a year, some people might even kill themselves. Some people
Yes.
like, are mentally disoriented. Like so much different things can happen because we weren't built like that. We were built to like have conversations,
Connect.
talk,
Mm-hmm.
right, connect, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's really easy to like go down in that, like start to doubt yourself and like, I could really do this and what's that. And that's where the encouragement, the community, the mentor, that's where that kind of stuff like comes into play. Because you could even have a strategy and you're working out the strategy. It may not work, which is fine, which is expected because everything don't always go to plan. But then now you may start to get really defeated. You know,
Mm.
run out to like share this turmoil with or bounce this idea off on to hear
Mm-hmm.
what they have to say. Because just like this conversation we're having, from you talking to me, you got a few insights. You got
Mm-hmm.
like one moment or what's not that you didn't necessarily sit and think about on your own. So it's always good to like have someone that either where you want to be or even if they're at the same level as you are in the same space, because trust and believe they're gonna understand what you're going through. So when you get to that emotional aspect, or even if you just like want a second opinion or a copy or something, as long as it's somebody you trust and got your best interest at heart, like you can honestly get some good feedback or help there.
Can we stay in touch? Do you have LinkedIn?
I think
Did
yes,
I
yeah,
did I add you on LinkedIn? I'm not sure. But
yeah.
yeah,
I can send you it after because they still have the link that I gotta send you to, so I can send you it. I can send you, yeah, I can send you it after.
awesome. Thank you. Trisha, if you could create a quote right now for you to leave to the audience listening and the world as your legacy, what would it be?
Cool.
Yes, a quote.
I would probably say I would say believe in yourself because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Trisha, how can people reach out to you?
So you could find me on LinkedIn at Tricia Harrison. All of my other socials are at the Remote Catalyst, or you could visit my website, theremotecatalyst.com. It's relatively easy to find me, to be honest. It's rel- it's relatively easy to find me, but yeah, you can reach out to me on any of my socials or on LinkedIn or through my website.
Oh, awesome. Well, there you have it, guys. You heard it from the person herself, Trisha Harrison. Before we close off, Trisha, I'd like to thank you personally for the work that you're doing for the world and for advancing every step of the way despite the challenges, creating trails for those that will come after you. For our listeners, this has been that one podcast with that controversial name, You're Worthless. Read that again. The juxtaposition of your very soul. Now, if you find yourself thinking that you're worthless, you are not alone, probably. But more importantly, ask yourself a level deeper, if I'm worthless, then why the heck am I here? It is because your soul have chosen to be here energetically all the way from the ethers. And for that reason itself, you are worthy and you are enough. This has been Trisha Harrison, your guest of the day, and Nick Nieras, your host, signing off. Thank you so much, Trisha, for your time.
Thank you.